Hey everyone, I'm Dan Orboole. This round reporter with me is Drew Discman. We were excited for this week's action at the Honeydome, and it did not disappoint.
Back for another quick hit, and it seems Bumble is wary about the dreaded host curse and wants nothing to do with it this year. Boy, did that go well.
Indeed it did. Today's race was potentially the landmark race of this Marbula One season, with a lot of ramifications. So let's pull that apart and dive into the highlights from the qualifiers.
With Speedy rounding off first in the qualifiers, coming off of their grisly DNF, it seems that the qualifiers were a good indicator of the epic proportions of today's race. The O-Rangers had the fastest individual lap time in the qualifiers, though it wouldn't turn out as fruitful in the pre as they would have hoped. And hey, what do you know? The Minty Maniacs finally qualified for their first race of the season.
We noticed a few interesting features on the track while watching the qualifiers, and we're ready to keep a close eye on them come the pre. The biggest moment was right out of the gate with this split here. The angle of the previous turn makes it incredibly difficult to avoid the split, and so a lot of time can be lost if you crash directly into it.
Also, the honeycomb segment had some weird slow patches that were hard to see with the naked eye. If at all possible, getting some air before entering that stretch was really useful. This was also the longest course we've seen so far, which we expected might lead to a more contested race. And what do you know? That's exactly what we saw.
Yeah, it was a tight race with more lead changes than we'd seen in a while. But at the end of the day, it would be Speedy of the Savage Speeders taking home the crown this week. This was a big statement win, both for Speedy, but also for the team, as this was their first points earned of the season. Starting from the pole position, they dropped a bit early, but we all know that was just to make the eventual win all the more dramatic. And remember what we told you about this split? Most every team will hit it coming off of turn 1. But you could just see this develop. It's lap 5, Speedy managed to get up over the curb, and as a result had a better trajectory towards the split. And boom, just like that, Speedy explodes ahead into first place and never looked back. An exceptional job of navigating a new course by an old pro.
Now let's talk about today's host, the Bumblebees. Very aware of it, the Bumblebees eventually bucked the host curse. Bumble started off extremely strong, initially, but the inexperience showed through the cracks of their seemingly growing lead. Bumble couldn't hold out until the end and was eventually passed by both Speedy and Starry. They were even stunted on the high segment that they oh-so aced in the initial laps. Bumble came in fourth, finishing a hair away from breaking into the top 3. Still, the best host finish we've seen this year.
Now, for some honorable mentions before we move along to chastising this week's failures. Starry of Team Galactic had an exemplary race today, making steady progress from their starting spot of 15th to actually take home the silver. Same story with Team Momo, who made a huge jump early on and even had first for a moment, but went on to settle for a 5th place finish. But that's still good enough to keep them in first atop the overall standings. Yellow Eye completes their team's trifecta as the Crazy Cat's Eyes become the first team to earn 1 of every medal, doing it in just 3 races.
Last week, we noted all the top Marble League teams that had 0 points. Minty Maniacs, O-Rangers, Savage Speeders. Well, today, all of them got points. Obviously, the Savage Speeders had their fair share of the spoils. Minty Maniacs and the O-Rangers, on the other hand, well, it's not much, but we'll give them credit for it. The overall standings have changed quite a bit, with last place now belonging to the Jungle Jumpers. Jungle Jumpers? More like Jungle Stumblers.
Really channeling your Bob energy there, Drew. So, the Crazy Cat's Eyes and Momo are in a league of their own right now. No one even remotely close to them atop the standings. The Bumblebees have shown themselves to be the best rookie team so far, sitting comfortably in 3rd place. Time will tell if they're able to keep up that pace as we head into week 4.
What an all-star match. Get to see my bandwagon pick turned favorite, Crazy Cat's Eye, still keep up the pace.
Come on, Drew, let's keep some semblance of professionalism and impartiality here.
Classic Ducks fan. Hopefully, you'll get him next time at the Aquamarine.
That is where we'll be. See you, everyone. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Hey, thanks for watching. Maybe check out some of our other series on the channel, or subscribe to the Marble Report to make sure you're always up to date with the latest and greatest in Marble news. We'll see you at the next one.